Welcome everyone to the second project, which is going to be drawing hands, which might scare every one of you. But I'm going to show you a bunch of tricks to help you out. So for this lesson, you are going to be drawing your first name or your last name in sign language. All right. Now my name is Matthew, and I would prefer if all of you would do your full name. So I know that I could shorten it to Matt, all right? But Matthew isn't that much longer. Now, if you only go by Matt, then that would work, okay? So Will doesn't have to go by William, but don't do it just because you think you're doing less hands, okay? So please email me or question in a comment or whatever if you are concerned by how many letters you have. Now, what I usually say is if you have a long first name and a shorter last name, well, then go with your last name, okay? But I would really prefer if everyone did their first name. All right, so I have a document on, which is this picture. The only thing that it doesn't have is all of the natural circles. I will be sending that as well. So hopefully by the time I'm done with this video, I'll be able to upload that as well. I know these are small. I'm also going to try to find full size letters so that they're easier for you to draw. Today is really just a practice day. All right. So as far as paper goes, if you can just find some scrap paper today. Next week, Wednesday, we are going to be doing our art book pickup, and that will provide you with more paper than you need. All right. So I'm going to draw on this whole sheet of paper. What you could do is fold it in half and draw one hand on the top half, one hand in the bottom half. Okay. I have two letters here that you should draw horizontally if you turn this. So if I was using the whole piece of paper and I was doing this hand, it makes more sense to have it go this way. Same with this one. But if I was doing this hand, I would want to do it the vertical way. All right. But if I cut my paper in half, then if I'm doing this letter, I would draw it up here like this. Okay. Now these hands should be almost life size. All right. I don't want them this small. Okay. I want them drawn big on here, life size. All right. So if you're wondering what life size is, that's life size. All right. Look at your own hand. So I am going to zoom in and I am going to show you how I would draw the A. That's too far. All right, we should be good. I'm going to draw with pen so that it's darker. You'll notice that the circles are in red. You're not doing them in anything but pencil. So everything you are drawing is going to be in pencil. Okay. Now what you do is you draw the circle first, where you see the circle. The circle is there to help you size. All right. So what does that mean? Sizing means that we are trying to make this a big hand. Okay. So if I draw a small circle like that, that's how big my hand's going to be. The thumb's going to be coming up here. All right. And then I got some fingers here. Okay. That's how big my hand is. So we don't want it to be that small. We want it big. So I'm going to start by drawing a nice light circle. This means my hand is going to be almost as big as this circle, if not bigger. The other thing you got to look at is this is in the center of my paper. Okay. Because I don't have fingers that come up much higher than where the circle is. This hand right here for B has a lot above the circle. So I'd want to lower this circle down a little bit so I had more room up here to draw those fingers. right? So now zoom back in a little bit. All right. So what I do, now I'm going to draw with pen and hopefully not make mistakes, is I look on this. I use the circle to help me out. You'll notice my middle finger on this one is a little bit outside of the circle, and that's almost at about half, okay? So you could also, I'm gonna do it with pencil, you could also make a little bullseye in the middle, and this tells you where the center of the circle is and where the center is on the top and the bottom. And that's gonna help you when you draw other parts of it or need to know how far down the fingers go. So I could also do this on here, and again, as light as possible. Okay. So to go back to this, I'm looking at the middle finger, which is basically at the center and comes outside of the circle like this. We have another finger that comes out like this and then touches the thumb. All right. The start of the thumb is about here with this little wrinkle using the circle that we have on here. I'm starting here. This is where that wrinkle is, I think. And again, I'm guessing, and it goes up a lot higher than this finger. Okay. I'm not worried about the nail. Okay. Now we're going to this part, and if we look, we're all the way down. So this is going to come down to about here. And then this is outside of the circle until about here. Okay. Now this is the center of the circle, and we're looking, the center is here. So this finger comes down to about here. This one's up a little higher. And now we can draw this one. We can draw this one. And then these ones just barely come out. And they're kind of squished. And then the pinky's in here. Pinky goes up to about there. Okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always important to count the fingers. And now I'm going to draw the other part of my thumb, which comes down. Here we have kind of the fold, right? You can laugh at me, but I call this kind of the butt of the hand, right? Because it kind of comes down and you end up with this like W shape. This comes down, we get the meat of our hand. So we're drawing kind of this fold here, right? And it always helps if you kind of do the same thing as where you're seeing. So we're drawing this chunk here of our hand and look at how high it goes up. So it goes right into those fingers. And then we have the other half kind of comes down like this. And now when you look, I can see this part of my hand. So it goes from the top here. There's kind of a fold. I'm not using my circle as part of my hand. I'm just using it as a guidance to help me show how big it is. All right. Now after that, I draw my wrist and I can kind of make like a little curve on the bottom. And then after that, I can go in and I can add my fingernails. And these are, please look at how they're drawn in or on the picture here. But also look at yours, okay? We can see skin on the bottom here. So sometimes I don't like drawing it all the way. I like to draw, but I think it looks a little bit more realistic. Okay. And then I can erase the pencil line for the circle. And I think I have a pretty nice hand. Now, this is going to take you a lot of attempts. Your first hands are going to be horrible. All right. That's not me making fun. That's me saying this takes time. All right. So we're going to do a lot of practices. Start out with the first letter of your first name. See how it goes. Today is just practice. Okay. So you can make 1 or 2 letters or 1 or 2 of the same letter and then call it quits for today. Good luck. Hope this helps.